Don't lift it up because you don't want it to cut the drill.
So Mom, you know
Put it in one of the bigger feed containers. One of your yogurt type containers in the garage. Did you get it? The funny thing is they don't really hurt much. They come in and they just nibble on it and they eat the earwigs if they catch bugs or anything in it. And it has tomatoes and celery and basil and that kind of thing.
So he ran around the building on still at this exact same spot where he could see me? Yeah.
Hey guys, I wanted to try and show you the steam rising off of this wood mulch. It is from live trees, so it's wet green wood and it heats up on its own. If this was kiln dried sawdust, it would be dry, there wouldn't be anything to drive bacteria, and it wouldn't break down. It would just kind of be neutral in stasis. Whereas live green mulch has moisture in it and sugars in it that are driving bacterial activity, fungal activity, is trying to break down into soil. And so if I wanted to fill my hotbeds with this, it would heat itself up and I wouldn't have to add any manure. I'm still going to add manure because I like to add manure. I want it to break down nicely into usable dirt. But just so you know, this is what we're working with, and it's one of the reasons I feel the push to get the hotbeds done even more than usual, is because seeing all this heat escaping is driving me just a little bit crazy. Every time I see that steam, it makes me cringe a little bit that it isn't already in the hotbed and already growing. You could literally grow all year round using hotbeds. What you put in hotbeds is some kind of carbon. It can be cardboard, it can be logs, it can be sawdust, it can be leaves, it can be it just needs to be dry carbon. And I have found that it doesn't really matter what type of wood that mulch comes from or what kind of wood it is. When we were in Tulsa, I had hardwoods and nut woods and lots of leaves. Here I have lots of resinous wood, softwood, I have a lot of pine. Doesn't seem to matter. The bacteria, as long as you have some kind of bacteria to eat this in the hotbed, it'll work. Things I have used to energize the hotbeds is rabbit manure, just watered down rabbit manure, goat manure in straw, horse manure. Word to the wise, I have not had success with artificial fertilizers. It had to be from a living source. It couldn't just be ammonium sulfate like what you use on lawns. It couldn't just be really high nitrogenous fertilizer. It had to be alive in order for it to work. I know I've seen the straw bale gardens, and I've tried to do the straw bale gardens with just the fertilizer from the store, and it did not work for me. What happens when you use something that has bacteria in it is that carbon breaks down and turns into compost and soil. It's a living thing, like a mushroom. And if you just use fertilizer, that doesn't happen. It heats up, but it never breaks down. The two books that that were my my aha moment. The first one was Hotbeds by Jack First, And he's in the UK, so his hotbeds are only this deep. I'm much colder than he is, so that's why my hotbeds are so much bigger. The book that taught me how to make my hotbeds bigger was Stand Up and Garden by Mary Moss Sprague. Those are the two books that I used. And it took me a lot of research to find those books. And I got them from the library with an interlibrary loan before I bought them. But they're amazing books. I love them to pieces. The other book that I find very helpful for planting dates is Winter Harvest by Elliot Coleman. And he's the one that has the planting dates to be able to plant your garden in December or November or January and have it really work and really feed your family. So now we're going to go show you the nitrogen bacteria source that we put into our hotbeds. So the goat bedding is my main source of, hi baby. The goat bedding is my main source of an inoculant for the hotbeds. It has a lot of carbonous material in it already, so it's not too strong, and something needs to be done with it anyway. It'd be great if I could just go put it all on my orchards and use it to feed my orchards, but with goats there's not really that much to go around to feed all my orchards, and so mainly I use my ducks and my geese to feed my orchards. Hi guys, what you looking for? Did you find some worms? Geese, you see the goose there? They are not looking for worms. They are just eating grass. And we save the clean eggs to put into a fridge in the basement if we get enough. And I use the bedding from the goats to put into my hotbed. They're also just the easiest and the cleanest poop that I have on my property. Historically, horse manure was used because it has so much hay in it. It is bulky, but I've used horse manure. I prefer goat manure because it's so much less effort. I can just come get it one wheelbarrow at a time, and it just makes my life easy. Now, if I'm recharging an old hotbed, I'll put rabbits on it. Rabbits can recharge a hotbed like nobody's business, and it keeps them warm in the winter, but when you're building a new hotbed, it takes a lot of material. You want to add it all at once, and thus I use the goat bedding. Hi guys, how are ya? For those of you who are interested in a plan for my hotbed but would like maybe a little bit more information about other avenues of homesteading, I appreciate all your guys' support. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I will continue to bring you along as I work on the hotbed. A lot of people have asked me why I don't write a book about the hotbed, and the thing is I'm still in the research and development phase. The only reason I have an ebook out there is just so that people can get started like me and move forward with it. I would feel bad if I waited until I had it perfected before I told people how specifically to build one, because I think they're a huge resource if you live in an area where you can't grow year-round. Even when we were in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is way warmer than we are here, much shorter winter there, I was growing basil in February during ice storms. Should be okay to open this, but you can see. Basil alive. So I will show you parts of the hotbed as I finish it, and I will add new details to the plans as I go along. But I would bet I'm a year or two out from really having a book-worthy amount of material and feel like I've really put the hotbed through its paces and say, okay, now it's finished. Because I don't feel like it's finished. I feel like we're still in the middle of, well, how do we build it bigger? Well, what materials work best? And for the love of Pete, will I ever figure out how to make it beautiful? You know, something that you could put in your backyard and be really proud of. And if you have an HOA, who cares? It's gorgeous. Haven't figured out how to do that yet, so I don't think I'm quite there. But I appreciate your support, and It makes a difference in my life to feel like I have a reason to come out and play in the winter instead of holing up in my house and feeling sorry for myself because I can't plant my garden until June. So anyway, I should feed these guys just a little bit more. It looks like they've gone through their hay, and then I'm going to get back to the hotbed.